Assalamualaikum, hello and welcome back to the Love Project with me, one of your hosts, Han Royani.
And me, Vijay, what's up?
What's up, guys? So we are at the Love Project. We are a facetious podcast that talks about political world news and current events. Last week we covered a lot of stuff because we've been away for a week before that. But basically we covered about the Indonesian protests, what happened with their government and stuff. But last week we covered a little bit, a small part of what happened in another Asian country, which was in Nepal. So you might have seen a lot of news, maybe in social media too, over the fact that in Nepal they just had like a massive revolution.
Yeah, it's like a youth revolution.
Yeah,
right?
youth revolution.
It was mostly led by young people.
Yeah, it was led by the Gen Zs.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's
the Gen Z revolution is what they're calling it, right?
So you can see like if you saw what happened, you can see like the parliamentary building was burned. They pretty much raided some of the ministers' houses. And there were even footages of some Nepalese politicians that escaped through helicopter because people were surrounding their house. So they had to escape like Tom Cruise style. You know what I mean? That was crazy over what happened because like you can see this movement. It was led by the young people, the Gen Zs. And then a day or 2 days after, the whole riot, the lootings and stuff, the young people of Nepal started cleaning up their cities again. Which was nice to see. You know what I mean? So it goes to show that in Asian countries especially, that we do have the power as the people to technically overthrow governments. If like the government is not doing the right job for the people, then the people have the power.
But I mean, to piggyback on that point, for me, going forward, this is going to be the hardest time for the movement, I think. This is the time that they have to prove that they can actually govern, or at least put people in place who have the ability to govern without more of the same.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like it was, to me, it was a good sign that a lot of the problematic politicians that were in Nepal were in a way exiled. Like
they were sort of being punished.
They got rid of them. Like we don't want you here. They left. They are seeking shelter somewhere, whatever the case may be. But they're not coming back into Nepalese parliament.
No,
into Nepalese government, which is great. In terms of a revolution that is achieving its purpose, which is actual change. The hard part comes when now they have to govern. So they've done the revolution. They've managed to remove the people that they thought were the problem. Now is the hard part in the sense that putting in place the proper solutions. The proper people that have the proper solutions. And because of human nature, that's not going to be an easy task.
No, but because of the whole thing, a state of emergency was a state of emergency was revealed to be in Nepal, and then after the Prime Minister's resignation. But then the former Chief Justice of Nepal was sworn in as the interim Prime Minister, voted by the government, and she is currently the first Nepalese female Prime Minister in history.
That's right.
But she's not even elected, you know what I mean? But
technically,
But they put her in power to sort of fix the problems of Nepal before getting a proper government, I think.
That to me, that was a good sign. Because if they had just let it be, in the sense that, okay, look, we removed these people, now let's just organically let it happen. Let the government, the governance of the people become an organic matter, in the sense that it's a grassroots thing. Let them fight it out and someone rise to the top. If they had allowed that to happen, there would have been more chaos. So now at least they have a steadying hand.
That's right.
leading and making sure she just has to make sure she doesn't overstep her bounds. You know, as long as she's okay with that, like she doesn't do like abuse her power necessarily. Not necessarily abuse, but overstep even by a little bit the confines of her power that is given to her. If she can have that restraint, then it could be a really, really good thing for the future of Nepal.
Yeah, and you know, because you can see that things are looking up for Nepal because the young people are leading the revolution. And I don't know if you've seen this video, but a few years ago there was a viral student from a high school in Nepal, where he got viral because of his similar tone and characteristics during his speech that is very reminiscent of Adolf Hitler. It was in 2015 or 2016.
Oh, okay, so he might be part of the revolution now.
He was part of the revolution. So he was. Okay, I'm gonna try and imitate him. Forgive me for what you're about to hear, but he basically goes something along the lines of, today we, as the citizens of Nepal, we the young students of this institution, we are going to improve Nepal's adaptability and improve the social life of Nepal. And he got very viral. Sorry, that was a bad imitation, by the way. But it was closer to Hitler, so I don't want to cross that line. But basically, he got viral, and then in the protests leading up to the resignation of the former prime minister, he was on the front lines doing pretty much the same speech. So it's pretty like back then.
10 years of commitment is a long time.
Back then, people were like,
there's a true believer right there.
Yeah. People were making fun of him, and now he's like leading the whole thing. So he could very well possibly, because of his popularity and stuff, he could be the next PM, Prime Minister of Nepal.
That'd be great to see, man. But you know, a youth movement. I mean, we've tried every other form of governance. You know, so like, and nothing seems to work past 250 years. Like a certain set way of governance seems to break down after that sort of time, and it has to evolve. So I don't know, maybe it's time for like a youth-led government. You know, who knows? Who knows? That might be successful. I mean, if you look at it, like I was reading in news today. Someone, I think it was the AP that had a study out that said that most of the developed world, especially over the last 25 years, have been suffering from downturn in economy, like slow economic growth. So
you're talking about like the big powers,
you know, Western Europe, even America, you know.
They're going on a decline. Basically.
And they have been over the last 25 years or so. Like their economies have gotten consistently weaker, you know, year by year, year over year. So, and it's led to other economies, especially if you look at the Gulf Coast countries, UAE, Oman, Qatar, and all that. Like they are thriving. Saudi, you know, they are like economically at least they are thriving, even without democracy being the linchpin of their system of government.
Even though capitalism is not really their way of. I mean,
that's right. It's not. At the very least, no matter whether you're a detractor or supporter of it, they are not a traditional capitalist state. You know, they're more like in a sense, they're closer to an oligarchy. You know, rather than a democracy. So it's. I think it just goes to show that what I've believed about governments in the world is that it depends on the intention of the leaders. Like MBS, for example, Mohammed bin Salman, right? Prince Mohammed bin Salman, who is de facto Prime Minister of Saudi right now, right? And also people say is already taking on a lot of the king's responsibilities as well, because the king is not well.
Right.
So you've seen that at the early part of King Salman being crowned king, do you know about the 7-star prison that he put all his cousins and uncles in?
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so there was this one in Riyadh.
When he just
got power.
I think
he
within
pretty
the
much
first 6
rounded
all his political.
They weren't political rivals, but they were essentially his cousins and his uncles.
Yeah, but some of them don't necessarily agree with what she is doing.
Correct.
Right? Yeah.
Correct.
And then?
Yeah. So I think it was somewhere in the number of like more than 120 of them.
That's a lot of people.
Uncles and cousins and whatnot.
And what happened to them?
They were essentially rumors. There were a lot of rumors flying around, but essentially most of them were made to pledge half their wealth
to the government,
to the royalty, to him, to Muhammad bin Salman. Yeah. So that is a way of him consolidating his power, consolidating his influence, and people thought that was like a bad thing when that happened, But
I mean,
5 years on,
it was,
like, and of course, with the murder of Jamal Khashoggi, the journalist in, I think he was murdered in the Saudi embassy in Istanbul.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So all these two things that happened were like a big plight on the reign of Muhammad bin Salman and King Salman.
Yeah. He was very heavily criticized
because
for that.
people thought they were like being heavy-handed.
Yeah.
They were abusing their power, things like that. But 5-7 years on, if you look at it now, like Saudi is thriving. They're creating $1 trillion cities in the middle of a desert. And it's nothing but glass. You know what I mean? It's a mile long.
It's like futuristic.
Futuristic one thing, but in order to have like the willpower to
execute.
If you look at Putin, right?
Yeah.
Putin has spent most of his time in power over the last 35 years or so enriching himself via the oligarchs.
Yeah, he's got a massive palace now.
Many. He has a summer palace, winter palace, spring palace, whatever, all that crazy shit, So, and he has been enriching himself. He's kept his family under wraps. People don't know much. It's very secret.
I mean, he was a spy.
Yeah, he functions like a spy, like an old Cold War era spy. But if you look at the Saudis, you look at the Arab states, the Gulf states, they are purposefully allocating all of their resources, or a lot of their resources, into nation building. They're actually nation building. They're putting in amenities, and like if you've been like the last time I was in Dubai was 2009. Okay. That I visited Dubai as a tourist.
Okay.
That wasn't layover.
I've only been there as a layover. But.
Right. And that place in 2009, 2008, it was like everything, because it was just after the global financial crisis. So things were like, there were like cranes just stuck on top of buildings, and like nobody was like most of the construction around Dubai was halted because of lack of funding, things like that. But now Dubai is just
thriving.
Next level.
Yeah.
It's next level.
It's like one of the safest cities and places in the world.
It would be argued it is.
Yeah.
Dubai, Saudi, all these places, like crime doesn't happen. Like petty crime doesn't happen, Like people pickpocketing, stealing your like that,
But then some would like argue that it's a authoritarian way of managing the government.
I'm not disputing that at all.
Right.
However, the results speak for themselves. Like the people in Dubai are thriving. Like if you live in Dubai now, like if you're a resident of Dubai, you are essentially being afforded like the best standard of living available in the world today. With all the free amenities, like petrol is 50 cents
per liter. That's
sorry, per gallon.
Per gallon? That's crazy. Yeah. Because I thought over here it was cheap.
A Mustang, a Mustang. It is so ridiculous. Petrol is so cheap that it's cheaper than water. Water is like, I think $1.50, 1 dirham 50 for like a 1.5 liter. Yeah.
Even until now.
Now it's probably a bit more for the cost of water. But petrol is still the same. Like these guys, see, unlike Malaysia, they produce, export, and use it locally as well.
We only export.
Yeah. So that's yes, it is authoritarian. But when you get like to my initial point, long-winded point, is that when you have leaders that actually care about the country and not care about enriching themselves, and it can be argued, fine, they've been rich for so long that they don't have a reason to keep enriching themselves. There's an argument for that.
Yeah, but they're not doing that.
But that doesn't change the fact that they're doing what they're doing, which is allocating resources that they could allocate for themselves to the people. You know, which at the end of the day is what you would want from people who you call your government.
Exactly. Yeah. And in a lot of countries, I think people are seeing that, comparing their countries to other countries, they realize that their countries are not performing as well as they should have been. For example, like in Nepal, where there was a lot of corruption. Bangladesh, and also a few weeks ago in Indonesia, in Jakarta, where there were riots everywhere. They looted pretty much a lot of the politicians' homes. So that's a form of government that is clearly not, I wouldn't say working well, but it's just that they are very not caring. It's just that they don't look at it from the perspective of the people. Like, for example, when they declared the housing allowance of what was it, like $3,000.
Yeah, USD.
So like an average Indonesian worker doesn't even get like a quarter.
500.
Yeah,
not even 500 USD.
Yeah, not even like a month.
Yeah.
So you can see for an Indonesian, they would feel like, okay, our government is not working out the way that they are supposed to. So that's why they did what they did. But when it comes to places like, because you can argue that Indonesia, I wouldn't say as authoritarian as the Saudis, for example.
Yep.
But
sure.
they are
they are far closer to a democracy than the Saudis are.
Yeah,
for sure.
But they are also at the same time, they are much bigger than the Saudis.
Yeah, about 300 give or take million people.
Yeah. I think it's close to 300 million people or something like that.
Yeah, close to that.
And it's hard. First of all, I know it's difficult trying to manage like close to 300 million country, but at the same time, you have to know the state in which your people are living in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So luckily in Malaysia, we are not really at that point. We are still somewhat peaceful, even though
and we are taken care of to an extent.
To an extent, we do take care of our people.
Because
people get
I think like
benefits.
Indonesia, right? The problem with it is that democracy in Indonesia has sort of come or is coming to the end of its life cycle. Because what you get in Indonesia, as well as what you see in Thailand, people, the politicians are more concerned about holding on to your seat rather than taking care of the constituents, which is what they're actually supposed to do. So it becomes the calculation in the mind of the politicians becomes, how do I stay in power for one more term, rather than how do I make sure I can milk out of the government as much as I can for my people. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the longer they stay in power, they have things like, permanent pensions and all that. So like each term gives you a certain set amount of pension, and then if you get another term, another set amount, that's money that you don't have to work for till the end of your life.
So that's what they're chasing for.
Yeah. Same thing that we have over here in Malaysia as well. Like our MPs all have permanent pensions. Like as soon as their term is over, they get paid I think half of what they were paid when they were MPs, until the end of their life. So every subsequent term, that adds on. So for example, if it's around, I think it's somewhere around 12,000 that you're earning as an MP.
Right,
so you're getting about 6,000 before tax on your pension. So that's a lot of money for a pension for not doing anything, And these guys are not even like, most of them, even if they lose their term after 1 or 2 terms, there's easily 10,000 ringgit in your bank account for like the rest of your life. And you're only like 40 years old. You understand what I mean? Like they're not even off retirement age.
They can retire early.
Yeah, they're not even off retirement age. They're not even 55.
Yeah.
So that is the inherent problems. Like people don't like to talk about it, especially the politicians don't like to say this because
they don't want to say how much they're earning.
Yeah, it breaks. So like for me, I once had the dream of serving in parliament. I don't like to call it like becoming a politician.
Okay. You want to serve the people?
I want to serve in parliament.
Okay.
I wanted to once upon a time, but that's still for me. Like I'm not trying to be.
Okay.
Like if it happens organically, it does. But I'm not trying to be.
Okay.
So, like to me, the problems within parliament, whether it be here or the UK, anywhere else, it's already ingrained, and it's so hard to take that out. You know, like the whole thing that's become the contention in Indonesia, like the 3,000 USD per month housing allowance, right? Who is gonna remove that? Now that it's in law, it is written into law.
It was written into law, but then because of the whole protest, the whole riots, they repealed it.
Okay.
Yeah.
At least they did that.
Yeah.
Okay. At least they did that. Okay. That's a good step.
That's a good step, right?
You know,
it's still a long way to go.
It's a long way
to
go.
So I have another question to you before we move over to the next topic. So earlier we were talking about some of the benefits that the politicians get. So now I want to talk about the benefits that that the people would get. Okay. So in places like in Nepal, Indonesia, and maybe also in Philippines, the people, they don't really get benefits for being natives of the people, unlike in Malaysia. So basically in Malaysia we get all these bumi rights, and all that. So over there they don't have that, especially in like the Philippines.
Where in Indonesia?
I think in Indonesia they don't get
any bumi rights.
Any bumi rights.
Yeah.
Yes,
that's right.
So for an Indonesian, for a Filipino person,
it's the same in Philippines.
It's the same in Philippines.
Okay.
They look at Malaysia and then they were like, wow, that's so great that you guys have all these benefits. You know, being like a Malay or a bumi or whatever, which, you know, in a way, this is my question. Like, how much does that link to the happiness of the people?
Ooh, that's a tough question. That's a really good question.
Because in Nepal, I don't think they have that.
No, most countries don't. No, most countries don't.
Yeah.
Like it's a form of something in Western politics called affirmative action. Okay, this bumi rights thing.
Okay.
So, like, they have it in the States, or a form of it, where they have these HBCUs. Have you heard of it? HBCUs.
No.
Historically black college and universities.
Okay. Oh yeah.
So, these colleges and universities are mostly in the South, like places like Georgia, Atlanta, Alabama, Missouri.
Is it because it was mostly segregated at that point?
Yeah. So, but until today, only black people can enroll.
Even until now.
Yeah. Okay. Only black people can enroll in these universities.
It's like reverse racism now.
Yeah. Essentially, but that is how the West sort of implements the affirmative action in order to placate for the years of slavery. So that's affirmative action from a different kind of motivation than we have here, where it's to protect, so-called to protect the rights of
the people, the natives,
supposed natives. So good or bad, it depends on the demographic. If you ask me, it's not a clear-cut discussion of affirmative action is bad or affirmative action is good. It has a place. Some people will argue in 2025 affirmative action doesn't really have a place anymore. Like we saw, I don't know if you heard, it's been in the news this past week about the high achieving STPM graduate
student that couldn't get
into UM.
I read that.
So people politicize that and say it's because of race and all that.
Because he was Chinese.
He was Chinese.
Yeah.
He's Chinese and not Malay. That's why he couldn't get a place using UPU or whatever. But the actual story behind that is that he applied to become an accounting major, but he never took accounting on the STPM level.
Okay.
You know, things like that. So like things that the universities look at and see, like, you know, it's not really like, yes, he was a 4.0 average, perfect score and all that, all A's and all that, but he didn't choose the subjects that were needed in order to go
so
further his studies into the line that he wants. So it was a more nuanced discussion rather than what was being portrayed in the newspapers, in the news outlets in Malaysia. You know, like a lot of people, like especially MCA, you know, they like to make it about race, but truly it wasn't. You know, the facts came out and it wasn't that was the case. And on top of that, he was also offered private university placement with full scholarship. You know, in other I think University Tuan Razak offered him Utah.
Right.
You know, so
so it's a happy ending.
It's a happy ending. Yeah, of course. And he still gets to go on and do what he wants.
Okay.
So it was just a matter of affirmative action because of the UPU thing, and it was his enrollment into public universities in Malaysia.
Okay, this is a complex issue. It's like a very touchy subject. So because Malaysia is 60% Malays and then 20%
Bumi Putra.
60% Bumi Putra.
Can't forget about the original people.
Yes, of course.
Orang asli.
And then 20% Chinese, roughly around 10% Indian, and then the other 10% is like a mix of migrants and expats.
Yep.
So probably for the minorities in Malaysia, they wouldn't be happy with an affirmative action like the current one that we have.
Yeah.
But at the same time, for the Malay people, probably they're wondering like, oh, okay, you know what? We do have to protect our rights. It's good that we are having these benefits. You know, you can have that argument, but also at the same time, in Philippines, in Indonesia, and some other Asian countries, they're like, wow, Malaysians, you have it so lucky because you get the benefits and all that. But you know, it's a touchy subject to talk about because
you have to talk about the negatives as well. Like affirmative action, especially for the people that it affects directly, the people that are given the affirmative action, they over generations become less motivated, become less hardworking because they are given more benefits from the government. That doesn't change in Malaysia. It's human nature. It's not about Malays. Okay, it's not about Malays, orang asli, Bumi Putra, whatnot. It's not. It's human nature. Any part of the demographic that you give affirmative action to, look at the black people. Look at Chicago in the States.
Okay, where are you going with this? Okay.
No, like they are killing each other more than white people are killing them now.
Sure. In the they say Chicago, the black on black crime is higher.
It's higher than it's ever been. You know, and those people were given the most benefits over time, at least over the last 80 years or so. You know, so
it went through a regression mode in terms of.
I mean, it's going through a regression mode. Even in the Malay community, like people don't like to say it, but it's the truth.
So that's where the stereotype, Malays are lazy, malas, and all that because of the fact that we get so many benefits.
It is a stereotype because of the us that are given to us. Like, okay, fine. I think that when they wanted to start the nation, I was not around at the time. Okay, this was in the 50s, 60s. Right. I wasn't around. I don't know how affirmative action affected it back then. Okay, maybe it was good, maybe it was bad. However, doesn't change the fact that reality took place, and it is part.
It's still current,
it was part of the nation building process, and it's remained until now. I also believe that today, our politicians, the people that represent the rakyat, should take steps to repeal
the affirmative action that is currently
which they have taken. Like UiTM has been more accepting towards non-Malays and non-Bumis. You know, things like that. It's a slow process. Because it was a slow process to implement in the first place. So it's a slow process to repeal as well. You know, like, but for me personally, even though I have the benefit of being Malay, Muslim, and Bumi Putra.
Right.
I don't agree with affirmative action. Like, I think it's run its course.
Okay. So
now,
do you think
now everyone, like, the nation is set up. We are a thriving nation. Like, despite all our internal issues, internal little policy and governmental issues, we are a thriving nation. Okay, we are a beacon in the region.
Sure.
It's time for us to repeal that and let's all compete on an equal level.
But I think if a politician were to do that right now,
he would be very, very, very,
very controversial, and he would definitely lose the support of at least the majority of the Malay people, I think.
So satu that they try to do it.
I think if something like that were to happen, something like what happened in Nepal could happen in Malaysia.
Maybe, but I'm not convinced because Malaysians lack the vigor to go out on the streets and actually fight for what they want. I'm sorry to say that.
You're saying Malaysians
in general.
I mean, it is very hot here.
That's true, but yeah, in general, we lack the vigor. And like, you look at like the Arab Spring, right? That happened in the 2010s.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen here. There's no, we don't, who is the firebrand that's going to be like, get out in the streets, you know, like, let's fight for, we don't have those.
We have a lot of them. It's just that
we have a lot of journalists that talk loud and end up being like independent voices, but they would never go out on the street and, you know, take what they think is rightfully theirs. So it's bad because like the politicians don't have anything to fear in Malaysia in terms of that.
Yeah, because they don't.
But that's not going to happen. Not in our lifetime, at least. We're too cushy. The affirmative action is some of the stuff that makes people want to remain in the status quo.
So so you're saying the Bumi Putra rights will remain at least until our lifetime? It's not going to change.
I think so. It will be slowly repealed. Like the politicians will keep giving an inch.
Until eventually
maybe 2-3 generations after us, then the whole thing will be equal, like truly
everyone
equal
would be like getting the same benefits or whatever. Okay, that would be nice.
Because like, how are you going to eradicate organizations like FELDA, for example? You know, like the public university system, how is that going to function? All those things will take time. Even with the best intentions.
I think this is also a conversation that we can explore more in the future, in future podcasts.
For sure.
But basically, the next topic that we're going to talk about was a big news in America, actually. So, I mean, we talk about this kind of stuff all the time. You know, we talk about politics in America, not just in America, but in other countries, and also specifically Malaysia. So basically, there was a shooting that happened in Utah. It's at a college,
Utah
Valley University. So a prominent conservative speaker, political commentator, similar like us also.
Yeah,
he was actually shot dead at a speech, at a debate style speech that he joined. So it was it's crazy because he was just practicing what is the First Amendment of
unalienable right that every American should have.
The first right, so which is just exercising his free speech. So in America, they pride themselves on being free, on being able to say whatever they want.
It's the only thing above guns. If you think about it, it's the only thing above guns.
The only
guns are second.
Yes, guns are second.
Guns
free
are
speech
second.
is the first. So that's clearly an important part of being American. But basically, in the middle of his speech, a shooter, I wouldn't call it a sniper, a shooter was at the rooftop and eventually shot him while he was in the middle of giving a speech. And obviously, this is a terrible thing that happened, but especially so because his wife was there.
His two
kids were there, and it's crazy to think about the trauma and the repercussions of what these innocent people are gonna go through. You know, just because of someone does not agree with what you speak on, and then they decide, okay, you know what, I don't like you. I don't like what you're saying.
I don't like you enough to kill you, right?
I don't like your face. I'm just gonna shoot you. So for them, they're doing justice. They're like, okay, we don't need Charlie Kirk in the world, so we should just take him out, which is crazy. Which is crazy. That, I mean, like, if we were in the US, because if we were doing this same thing in the US, that could have easily made us targets. We could have easily
been targets.
That could have easily been us. I mean,
because we have been very, very on the, especially on the show, very, very on the Palestine boat, right?
Exactly.
And I was doing a bit of research into the whole Charlie Kirk thing, and he's been changing his tune on the whole Palestine thing since the earliest I found tweet of him was the 12th or 13th of August of this year.
What did he say?
He was questioning, because you remember when October 7 happened, right? It was a music festival that supposedly Hamas terrorists came in, kidnapped a bunch of people, and then brought them back to.
I have a lot of questions about
Gaza,
that, but
right?
go on.
So, if anyone knows Israel is a very small country. On a helicopter, you can go from
one end to the other,
from the east border of Israel all the way to the western border of Israel in half an hour on a helicopter.
Oh, half an hour. I thought it was 40 minutes.
No, it's like it's not that big at all.
Yeah.
So, what Charlie Kirk was starting to ask, he asked point blank, was that why did it take
so long?
I think it was close to 16 hours before first responders.
No.
Before first responders responded.
That's...
So like, why did it take that long? Was there a stand down order? That was what he was asking. And
there had to be a stand down order.
But do you understand the implication of him asking that question rather than you or me?
Because he is a Christian and he is like the face of
he's the face of the youth conservative movement in the US.
In the US.
And he's the one asking the question.
He's basically saying that, okay, why is Israel letting Hamas do this?
Yeah. That's essentially his question. Yeah.
And so because of he's changing the tune of his direction, basically.
And then
so
there were a few more tweets. There was a tweet from one of his best friends that was deleted after his death. That said that according to people that were very, very close to him, he was being asked to tone down on his rhetoric after he gave that interview on the Patrick Bet-David show on the 13th. It was either the 12th or the 13th of August. I remember that very clearly.
They told him not to speak up about Israel and Palestine.
Yeah. So, look, a lot. The shooter is actually a 22-year-old. He's already been charged with murder. I think he was charged with murder yesterday. His name is Tyler Robinson. Yeah. 22-year-old. He didn't even go to the university. He was like, I think he lived like 5 hours away by car. And he drove all the way just to kill him. So, I don't know. It's a lot of questions left and a lot of things unanswered. Like how did he get a high-powered rifle? How did he get on the roof without anyone noticing?
Yeah, that was
all those kinds of things. Like, it's, to me, I believe like free speech is one of the things, probably the thing that I believe in the most. Very similar to Americans, I believe that free speech has to be protected at all costs, and you protect that free speech by force, arms, by having guns. That's always been my take on it. It's like the idea is mutually assured destruction.
That's not okay. I would argue
it has kept peace in the world over. Is what kept a nuclear bomb from being detonated after Hiroshima.
Okay.
Mutually assured destruction, and it's the same principle that in America that allows states like Texas, states that like Georgia that have open gun laws to essentially police themselves, because everywhere you go, everyone's armed.
Yeah.
You are armed, everyone's armed, no one's going to pop off. But when you go to California, where they have malls that don't allow guns, that just lets a guy with an AR-15 come in, mow down everyone because he knows no one's shooting back.
Okay.
That's my logic. Whether it works out more than not, that's reality.
I understand.
There
where
are crazy
you're coming
people, a lot of other factors, but the basis of my belief is that free speech is number one.
Yeah.
You protect your free speech with mutually assured destruction.
Okay, I agree with you to the point of free speech, but I would argue the point that about the mutually assured destruction. I would say that it's safer if no one were to have guns.
But reality is that that's not the case though. There always is someone with a gun, even if it's a cop.
I mean, yes. I mean, if it's a cop, I think they should have that, unless like they are prone to having like prior cases where they're not doing good jobs as cops. But I would say cops should have it because they are like a figure of authority and righteousness. You would say like they are keeping the law
in theory.
In theory, so I would say it's safer if people were not to have guns instead of if they were, because if I were to have guns and then suddenly I was like, oh, you know what, I don't have money this day today, and maybe I should just rob.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Okay, this is based on fact.
Okay.
Should cars be banned then? Should people not allowed to drive cars? Should people not be allowed to drive cars? Because cars kill more people than guns globally.
Okay, so I'm not going.
Yeah, right. So should people stop using cars?
Okay, I see your point.
Yeah. Yeah, no, sorry. So like I said, I don't know. I don't know the good or bad, because good people exist in the world, bad people exist in the world, and bad people want to hurt that want to hurt other people also exist in the world, and they're going to try and do that however they can, with or without guns. Look at the UK. Knife crime is at its highest. No one's banning knives. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. The gun issue is it's something that needs to be fleshed out. And when, like you said, right, cops should have guns. People shouldn't. But like if that's the case, that's what leads to like military juntas. You know?
What do you mean?
Like because cops are the only ones that have guns, that's how they control the population. If everything breaks down, say we lose confidence in the government, in the PM and everything, the military comes in, everyone has to listen to the military, because no normal citizen has the will to fight back against the military, because what can you do? They can shoot you down. You understand?
Yeah,
that's exactly what happened in Cambodia. That's exactly what happened in Myanmar. Exactly what happened in Vietnam. It's exactly what happened in Indochina, essentially.
But
even in Thailand,
that was a bunch of war crimes, and obviously that's a part of the history.
But just because it's war crimes doesn't mean they're not going to happen. You understand what I mean? Because if the push turns to shove, all bets are off. Everyone wants to hold on to power, right? So that is why the Second Amendment is so important. It's not to protect against foreign adversaries. That is on the government to help you do that. It's to protect you from your own government. That is the whole spirit of the Second Amendment.
But it's crazy to have those two amendments as the first ones, because, like, first of all,
you see the forethought.
First of all, you can say anything you want, and no one is allowed to say, like, you shouldn't be punished on whatever you said. But also at the same time, everyone also have guns, so you are just antagonizing each other to, like,
if you do yeah.
So because I can say anything, you can say anything, and then we'll reach to a point where, you know what?
That's why dueling was allowed, was part of the law for so long. I think there is still a mutual. I think Chicago, if I'm not mistaken, is still a mutual combat state.
What do you mean? Like you can duel?
You can duel. Like if both of you have evidence that before one of you dies, when you duel, if both of you have the evidence that says that both of you entered into the duel consensually, the person who killed the person that died doesn't go to jail. There's mutual combat. I'm pretty sure that's still in effect today in Chicago. You could Google it.
You know, they should have done that with Charlie Kirk instead of just...
These people are not following the law, you know? You follow the law, there's always a way to get there.
Oh my God. Okay.
There's a reason Donald Trump doesn't pay tax. Because it's in the law. Yeah.
And he would call it being smart.
Yeah.
It's just using the loophole.
Exactly.
But, I mean, all jokes aside, I mean, it's
terrible.
Yeah, it's terrible what happened to Charlie Kirk.
But, you know, we should always, to end it on a good note, we should always be grateful that we live in a society where essentially we can say what we want. You know, we have few limitations here and there, but
the 3 Rs.
Why would we want to talk about those things in public and inflame all sorts of bad feelings all around? You know why?
It's good to have that law to prohibit, you know.
Not just law, but just have it as a norm. Don't talk about it.
But you can say that that's a limitation on free speech.
It is. Yeah. It is. It's not that it's not. It is. But it's the kind of limitation that, to me, is a guideline that should exist. Like, okay, they don't say that in the States because they don't have royalty, for example, right? But why would we want to talk about royalty here either? Like, okay, fine. they have their shortcomings as well. They're humans. We have our shortcomings as well. But at the end of the day, they helped us get our independence. If they didn't make that trip to London, we wouldn't have our independence today. You know? Or it might have taken a lot longer. Like Hong Kong was independent in 99.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like we who were not alive back then, we take that we have today for granted.
Yeah. You're right.
You know,
actually.
the youth. That's one thing that we do as the young people. We take it for granted. Okay, but we still have to remember history is history. We won't have our independence without these people. So why talk about them? You know, if it comes to the point where they become tyrannous, you know, they become tyrants, they're fine, but they're not.
Yeah.
They're not.
Compared to other countries, we
not
still
even
have
close, dude. Not even close. Not even by any objective definition, you cannot call any of the royals that we have tyrants. This is not even close. Even Najib was never close to being a tyrant, dude. Like, come on. There were so many checks and balances that would enable us to remove him. You know, and we did so fairly peacefully. Might I add?
Yeah.
You know, like a guy like that leave office, it would have taken down the whole nation with him if he actually wanted to.
No, it's people. The reason Najib was taken down was because of one MDB, and because
of
people were
course.
not happy with.
But if he had tried to consolidate his power right earlier, before people found out about one MDB, you know, it would be civil war.
Yeah.
You know,
You're right.
and the fact is that didn't happen because the rakyat went to the ballots, did what they were supposed to do. End of story. You know, it works here. Don't like. It's not perfect. It never is, but it works. That's what's most important.
I would say that's what underrated about Malaysia. Actually,
For sure, man.
Yeah.
For sure, man.
Because I mean, not to end it on a sad note, but I'm just gonna give some news stories about what's happening in the world. I mean, like in Gaza right now, a lot of the UN, the Human Amnesty, and a lot of other organizations are now calling what is happening in Gaza a genocide and a famine. Is what's going on in there right now. So it's crazy because I think yesterday Israel just announced plans that they wanted to do a full takeover of Gaza, which is essentially
and
ethnic,
Rafah as well.
essentially ethnic cleansing, which is a war crime, you know, which is crazy about what's happened. But also in Malaysia, I mean, it's not so crazy as what I just mentioned, but in Sabah, currently we actually have floodings right now. So a lot of cities were affected. There were a lot of casualties also. They even had a technician, an electrical technician. He was driving with his friends. They wanted to basically go to a village that that had the power cut off.
Okay.
So he went there, but they encountered like floodings and a lot of
Crocodiles?
Not crocodiles, but it's just heavy currents.
Right.
So eventually the car was floated and was.
Oh really?
Yeah, floated,
that bad?
and then he died essentially. But he's just one of the many casualties that we had in Sabah right now because it's dangerous because we are getting closer and closer to the monsoon season. So if there's nothing that is going on, if the people in charge are not doing anything about it, then things could get a lot worse.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it happens every year.
It happens
Look at
every
my
year,
home state of Kelantan. Shit happens every year.
Minum air kopi every day. Huh?
What?
I just said minum air kopi every day.
Yeah, you know, like, I mean, it sucks, dude. It sucks. Like, no one seems to want to. No one, as in no one in the government, seems to want to do anything. You know, like Kelantan is Kelantan. Pass.
But
maybe this means that you guys should change your government.
Yeah. I mean, not to criticize anyone or anything, but if you look at what happened in Nepal and what happened in Indonesia, they showed that the people have the power.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you are not feeling happy with what your government is doing, you know, talk to them, write them letters, make sure whatever issues that you have are being. Make sure that the constituencies or the people that are in charge know about your problem, so that you know whatever problems that you are facing, you can ease that or solve it basically.
Yep.
So on that note, Jay, do you have anything else to say to our audience members before?
Selamat Hari Malaysia.
Oh yeah, that's right.
You know, yesterday, as of recording today, yesterday was Malaysia Day.
That's right.
So, you know, I just want to echo what I said earlier today. Like, we should be very grateful for the country and the government that we have. It's not perfect, but we could have it a lot worse. And because of that, you know, I'm happy to be a Malaysian, and I don't think that any of us have anything to really complain about.
Yeah. At least, I mean, for us in our line of work, where in Malaysia it's pretty safe, whereas in other countries we could be like targets, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So very grateful, that we're in Malaysia, and but we would never kill ourselves. Just letting you guys know. All right, and on that note, thank you for watching. If there are any guests that you think we should have on, let us know. You can DM us. If you think there are any issues that we should talk about, please let us know in the DMs, or you can email us. And until then, we'll see you next time.
Peace.
Bye bye.